At NTV.
A very good morning and welcome back from the Kickstarter discussion where matters were governance and administration. Now allow us to shift your attention to issues concerning health and sight. In our Take Note, we are going to discuss visual defects and rehabilitation. Now, before I introduce my guests who are experts at it, allow me give you a brief preamble. In daily lives, our brains process a great deal of visual information and extract what has been described here as spatiotemporal features such as shape, color, depth, velocity, motion, direction, efficiently in real time as in it's happening now. Therefore, normal vision not only refers to a visual acuity of 20 over 20, but also good performance in a variety of sophisticated visual tasks. This is expert stuff. We are seeking to highlight vision disorders that affect the whole visual pathway, providing not only a model for the abnormal visual system, but also aid our understanding of the visual neural system. I'm joined by Jackline Bavoneraawo, eye specialist at Lapaire, Uganda, as well as Roseline Kilonzo, the regional manager for Lapaire East Africa. A very warm welcome to the program, ladies.
Thank you very much.
How are you doing?
Quite well. How are you?
I read a word that gave me a little bit of trouble. Spatiotemporal. What is that?
Sorry?
What is spatiotemporal features when it comes to aspects visual?
Can we have this whole statement and listen?
The statement reads, in daily lives, our brains process a great deal of visual information and extract spatiotemporal features such as color, shape, depth, velocity, and motion.
Oh, these are, okay. How do I explain this in layman's language?
Oh, please do.
Color vision, okay. These are things that all the eyes perceive. The eyes have to perceive all this, the depth, the color, and all these things are measured anyway when we are taking the when you are checking the eye. There is what we call color depth, color depth, all these things are important as we are assessing the eye. I think that's what they're talking about. And they all will depend on the brain.
On the brain.
For whatever the eye perceives, starts with the brain.
Okay.
That's why we say that most of the eye, whatever we see, 90% of what our bodies, our senses perceive, rely on the eyes.
Okay. From the clinical perspective, understanding vision disorders is critical to the monitoring and prevention as well as diagnosis of the functional eye, the functions of the eye. Here, I'm told it can be accomplished with development of new methods for quantifying a range of visual functions, including contrast sensitivity, stereopsis, interocular. Oh yeah, now this is real stuff. What is that? Suppression, visual fields. Tell me everything about
the eye.
The eye and visual impairment before we go into the nitty-gritty.
Okay. The eye is an organ that we use for sight. It seems little, it seems small, but it is actually very big because almost all our body senses rely on the eye. 90% of all the body senses rely on the eye for us to normally operate. Visual fields, as you've talked about, it gives us the ability to see, that you can see both your central vision and then the peripheral vision. You can see perfectly well. Ideally, when a person is seated like this, you're meant to be in position to see in front of you, and at least this peripheral vision has to be good. A person with poor visual fields, it means maybe their peripheral vision may be narrowing. We normally find this among patients who have glaucoma, which is associated with increased eye pressures, because the eye also has its own pressure. So for visual fields, everything has to be seen like up to at least this angle. A person has to be in position to see. Then we also do color contrasts, in that when we say we display a picture ahead of you, you must be in position to identify, like say human beings, let me give an example of a photo. You must be in position to identify a whole human being in their right colors. Like say the person is putting on blue, a person is putting on green. The people who have poor color contrasts, and you know, it is not okay. For example, people, like if this person they are driving, they're not in position to recognize these traffic lights, you see? And yeah.
So you can't tell whether it's green, yellow,
exactly.
or red.
Also, the ability to perceive depth is very important because people can always trip over and fall in case you cannot do that.
That's right.
You see? So the eye seems small, but it is something wide, and everything has to be attended to for us to be in good position.
Before I come to Madame Kilonzo on the advancement of technology and how Lapaire East Africa is rolling out some of these services, just take us through what is the state of affairs when it comes to Uganda in terms of visual impairment, which regions are affected, who is affected most. In the corporate world, there are many people who are sitting on their computers all the time, and many computers don't have guard. Could we be dealing with a crisis that we don't know proportions of?
Surely. Ideally, generally, we can say that visual impairment, basically these refractive errors are among the leading causes of blindness. Worldwide, not only in Uganda here. And basically it is mainly what we call myopia or short-sightedness, which is the commonest. All people are affected. We can't say this area is more affected or this because currently or lately we've not been having very many optical shops, so we have very many people in the villages that we even don't know, who have not come up for these visual tests, and we don't know whether they have the refractive errors, but for them they feel comfortable. So I will not say that this region is affected because most of these remote places, people are seated back home with the refractive errors and they can't access medical attention because they seem they feel it is very expensive for them to access this, but because lately it's been like that. Accessing an eye specialist has been very expensive, consultation is very high, and they've been very rare. So the numbers are high. You'll find that in estimate, in every 4 parents, at least one parent has one child having a refractive error, especially myopia. So you see that it is a big percentage. It's a big percentage. And this is mainly common amongst young children below 20 years, especially myopia. It is common. If we say at least in every 4 parents there is one parent with a child with a refractive error, then we can see how big this thing is affecting us, especially in Uganda here. All
right, later we shall be talking about how people do recover, those ones that could have been unable to access treatment as fast as possible. Roseline, Kilonzo, yes, about Lapaire East Africa's rollout of these services and its ability to address these particular crises promptly at a cost that is one that doesn't press hard, especially on the grassroots person. Just take us through that.
Absolutely. So what we have noticed as Lapaire and what we're trying to help with, at least anyway, is that there's 3 major reasons for people not being able to access the quality eye care services that they need. So the first reason is lack of awareness on the importance of eye care. Like Jackie has mentioned, there's very many people that don't even know that they're living with refractive errors.
That's right.
And then the other reason is maybe the knowledge of where to access these services. They don't really know where to access these services. And then the third reason is based on the cost. So everyone believes that glasses are expensive. Everyone believes that getting quality eye care services is going to cost you a pretty penny, but it doesn't have to be the case. So what Lapaire is doing is to counteract all these challenges that our people are facing, is that first of all, we offer free eye tests. Free eye test in all of our locations, and this is not only in East Africa but in our countries in West Africa as well. In any Lapaire location you go to, free eye test. This already should be like a reason enough for people to come in, because you can get your eye test if you don't need glasses, we will let you go. We're not going to force you to buy glasses if you do not need
but
them.
you're going to state the case for glasses,
yes,
right?
we will, but
Yeah.
you know, like if you absolutely need them. And then of course the other thing that we are doing is we are increasing awareness on the importance of eye care through our platforms. Through our social media platforms, through our stores, informing people, talk to your people, like let them come in, let them get this free eye test. And then on top of that, we have glasses, quite affordable glasses, starting from only 105,000, which covers the full pair, like frames and lenses together. Now, for people that have worn glasses before, hopefully people that are watching and listening right now, they know that glasses can be quite expensive. Like, we have glasses going upwards of 500,000 Ugandan shillings, and not everyone is in a position to afford glasses for that much. So
that also takes me aback.
Yeah, it's crazy, I know. So being able to get a full prescription pair of glasses at only 105,000, and with the option of even paying in installments, I think this is something that our audiences, our patients have come to appreciate quite much.
All right. On the cost of these kind of conditions on the economy, that one is something that can be discussed at a later stage, but you will give us an idea on exactly how it affects people's performance.
It's
is it
really
something that
yeah, no, she can cover it, absolutely.
Yeah.
But if we're talking about like the example that Jackie gave earlier of someone not being, if they're, you know, they cannot be able to see traffic lights, distinguish traffic lights, that's a daily practical thing that we do every day. So it really affects our way of living. If you cannot, if you're driving, you cannot distinguish the traffic lights. If you're a student, you cannot read on the chalkboard, on the books. It really affects how we, you know, like we live our daily life. And so this is why we're always encouraging people, like if you notice any issues with your eyes, not even if you notice, it's actually advised that at least once a year you go see your eye specialist and get your eyes tested.
Okay.
Yes.
Bavoneraawo, there is something about, you spoken of refractive error of quite comprehensively, but I see amblyopia, strabismus, cataract, glaucoma, age-related macular degeneration, and visual fatigue. Could you highlight on any one of those? There is something about age-related macular degeneration. Yes. I'm heading into the 40s. I need to find out what I need to take care of.
Ideally, there are very many eye conditions that we cannot exhaust right now on media.
Okay. What are the commonest?
But the common ones, age-related macular degeneration is common, and as you've heard, it is age-related.
Age-related, yeah.
Yes, our eye has some part called the macula, which is very important for us to see. So if it keeps on degenerating, ideally you will lose your vision, and it doesn't have a specific cure for it. The only thing we have to do is to do preventive measures and keep our eyes healthy. Amblyopia, that one develops in childhood and is as a result of untreated refractive errors. Refractive errors, we've got 4 major ones: myopia, which is short-sightedness, long-sightedness, hyperopia, we have astigmatism, and then presbyopia. So if a child develops these refractive errors and they are not treated, they are not helped, they can develop into amblyopia, which is a lazy eye. This child will not be in position to raise their lids to see. You talked about cataract. Cataract, we have a part in the eye called a lens. If it gets opaque, or if anything affects that lens, ideally a person will not see. That lens allows the light to go through to reach the retina for a person to see. Glaucoma, I explained the glaucoma. It is as a result of increased intraocular pressures, and it is characterized by loss of this peripheral vision, and it keeps narrowing until you only remain with tunnel vision. Most of the people don't realize it earlier, not until they realize they can only see straight and they cannot see things at the sides. It is very painless. Now the challenge we have with eye conditions is that most of them, and the most dangerous ones, are not, they don't come with pain. They are very painless, and it is so sad that we get these patients when they're nearly losing their vision because they've not been feeling pain. You know, as Africans, we only seek medical attention when there is pain somewhere, and these people,
usually, I've known some that do seek medical attention, but most.
There are just a few.
Yeah.
There are just a few. So most of them come when they've already lost, and then they have like a very tunnel vision, and then this thing is irreversible. You see that? So most of these conditions, there are really many, and unless one seeks medical attention, they cannot get to know what they're suffering from unless they can feel it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. So Lapaire East Africa being rolled out across the region, this is a question that could be answered by any one of you. When it comes to service rollout for those that are into visual impairment, correction of people's eyesight, what is the model that works best to roll out these services? Because cost is a very huge factor. Accessibility to services is a huge factor. Not many governments provide these services in hospitals. So you're looking at a population that is, first of all, constrained financially to access this service, but also far-flung from the urban centers. How do those people get these services?
So what we are focusing on currently is getting closer to the people. We currently have 10 branches spread out across the country. In Uganda, yes, specifically in Uganda, with 8 in Kampala, and then 1 in Jija, 1 in Barara. Our goal eventually is that no one has to go for more than 30 minutes without accessing quality eye care services. So that's what we are working on right now, trying to get closer to the people, educating them on eye care, and being there, ready to welcome them when they walk into our stores, ready to get their eye tests. Okay.
On a daily basis, what kind of practices will ensure that I do not fall victim to the eye conditions or diseases? Some of us, the way we wash our eyes matters, perhaps. Some of us apply soap in there, others don't. Who is at risk?
We are all at risk of getting eye conditions, but yeah, depending on which eye condition, we shall just give general eye care tips. But before I give the general eye care tips, I want to inform, okay, maybe we would love to tell people that some of these conditions we cannot just give medication to treat them. A person with a refractive error, they need to be seen by the specialist, and then they're only treated with eyeglasses, contact lenses, or advanced countries do surgeries for people who don't wear glasses.
Okay.
Yes. And those ones, if it develops, you just have to learn to live with it. I'll not tell you, you do this, it will go, most of them. But general eye care tips, the very first one is schedule a regular checkup with your eye specialist. It's the most important thing. Whether you're sick or not, it is very important for one to have a schedule and have your eyes always checked. That's it's the only time you'll know that I have this problem, I do not have this, this is how I'm to live. Secondly, a balanced diet.
Yeah.
It is very important for us in the eye, and basically we emphasize on fruits and vegetables to have our eyes good. It will also help us delay what we call the age-related macular degeneration. At least it helps to nourish the behind of the eye, that part we call the retina. The good diet will help us. Thirdly, exercises, body exercises. It helps us to reduce the risks of hypertension and diabetes as a result of too much weight. Yes, because we know these two affect the eyes so much, because it can result into diabetic retinopathy.
Okay.
So body exercises are very important, and then also having also eye exercises. There are very many, but the most important one and the most common one is the 20-20-20 rule. For every 20 minutes you spend looking onto a screen, it is important to take off 20 seconds and look at something 20 feet away. 20 feet away is close to 6 meters. You don't have to move away from this place to go elsewhere. No, you can just look away, then you get back to whatever you're doing. It is very important. And then, you know, it is very important to always consult about your health. Very important. Very important. Then for parents who don't attend to their children, have time for these children. Take a walk with them. Children normally they spend a lot of time on screen. You know, these days we're in a modern...
They have all sorts of tabs.
Yes, they have tabs. And then the child, you not control them. They spend a lot of time on these gadgets. Okay. So it is important to advise them, take a walk with them because you're not going to take them off their gadgets. Then protective eyewear is the most important thing. Use sunglasses while outdoors. Use the right prescription lenses. And above all, still I'll go back to regular eye checkups. A regular eye checkup. Oh, interesting. Now, for a gentleman like me who wakes up and spends a lot of time, I think when you look up, you can see so many lights and the cameras. My risk is high, isn't it? Exactly. So that means what kind of advice would you give broadcasters and television journalists? Yeah, these ones are exposed to what we call blue light. Blue light. Blue light is it is produced by digital devices, even our phones inclusive. Yeah. This blue light affects the eyes and so much. That's why you find that by the time you leave this place, you're having a headache, you feel your eyes are strained, they are tearing, you feel like they are gritty sensation, you feel like they are dry. It's because of this blue light. There is what we call at Lapaire. We have some glasses that we call they are called photochromic blue light blocking. Photochromic blue light blocking lenses. Yes, they are like mine here. Yes, okay. They block this blue light from reaching our eyes, which is dangerous. The blue light is very dangerous. So they help us block this light from entering our eyes. Oh. Yes, and then the 20-20-20 rule still applies to us here. As you're focusing on these lights or the screen there, 20 minutes, take off 20 seconds, look away, then get back to the screen. Get back to the screen. Yes. All right, I hope my producer has heard about those glasses, that blue light what again? Photochromic blue light blocking lenses. All right, latest innovations in eye care. People want to put on what they call it? Contact lenses, yes. And most of them it's not because they even have defects with their eyes, but beauty. Yeah. Eye accessories, in this case, okay. I'm referring to cosmetic, glasses or contact lenses. They're getting more and more popular, which is fine, absolutely. Looks stylish, it's perfectly fine. But if you're going to wear contact lenses, whether contact lenses or glasses, whether cosmetic or not, I would still advise that you have them. You have your eyes checked by your eye specialist first before doing that. Before that is done. Exactly, okay. Because eyesight is absolutely important. It's absolutely important. So it's not something to cheap out on. Go out, check on, get your eye test by the doctor. If you want cosmetic contact lenses or glasses, they can still prescribe those to you. All right. Any last word before I can wrap this up from the eye specialist? Yes, my last remarks would be regular eye checkups. Yeah, regular eye checkup. I encourage each one of us to schedule a checkup with us. We are always available at all our branches. Always find a specialist. They are very friendly, very welcome. Have your eyes checked. Love your eyes, love your eyes, love your eyes, because you cannot just operate without them. Whatever we rely on here is the eye. For whatever we hear, at least the eye is participating. Even as we speak, the eye is participating. So we should learn to embrace our eyes and love them. All right. Jackline Bavoneraawo, eye specialist at Lapaire, Uganda, as well as Roseline Kilonzo, Regional Manager, Lapaire East Africa. Many thanks for the perspectives on the defects, but most importantly, I'm glad you've advised us broadcasters. I hope the producer has taken note. I need those things before anything gets out of way. That will do it for our Take Note discussion. And of course, we've been looking at defects and rehabilitation in as far as visual impairment is concerned. Stay with us. We'll be coming with a business update, talking insurance. Stay with us. I'll be right back.